Are you interested in the content for advanced Amazon sellers? Well, then I recommend you to check the Seller Sessions podcast, sellersessions.com. This project is run by two people, Danny McMillan and Richard Morgan. In this video, I wanted to introduce you Danny, and we will be talking about the history of Seller Sessions podcast and also about his first ever live event, Seller Sessions Live, where he's bringing most knowledgeable Amazon industry experts to the first event in London, June 1st, 2019. Hello, Danny. So happy to see you again.
You too. Thanks for having me on, Augustus.
Yeah, we have been in touch for almost 3 years. You were a guest on my first virtual summit I did 3 years ago. Yeah. And I remember how 2.5 years ago, you shared your idea of seller sessions.
That's right, yeah.
In few weeks, this year, 2019, June 1st, you're doing a Seller Sessions Live, your first ever in-person conference, which we will talk about in this video. But before we talk about the live conference, can you just quickly run us through the history of Seller Sessions? What was the initial idea, and how are you doing right now? What is your audience, and what feedback are you receiving?
Yeah. So basically, Seller Sessions started in January 2017 with me and Richard Morgan. And with some things, you have like a vision for some stuff, and like long-term vision was always there, but the short-term vision is we bounced around. So originally when Seller Sessions started in January, we were doing 2 webinars a month, but then we ran for a while and it was fine, but then we started getting technical problems because we'd have guests on who are not on Ethernet, so they will drop out, and that caused, it stops the flow with the audience and stuff like that. So it became very troublesome. It wasn't like a controlled environment. So what happens there, once we stopped doing those, we had one episode, I can't remember the exact one, I'm sure it was a AdWords one, where it was really bad issues with connections. Like I was rock solid, but there were situations with Richard and with the guest as well, and it was affecting the audience. So after that, we decided, right, okay, we've kind of started to build up a following with it. Let's do like weekly videos on YouTube. And so then we moved on to the YouTube platform, and we run now doing 1 video a week, I think it was, on a Wednesday for a period of time. Again, which is fine, but very slow in terms of its growth. And then further down the line later on in the year, we decided to launch the blog. So we went back to all the webinars and the videos, and then we historically rewrote all of the show notes, or Richard did, and then we put them up in the order of sequence when they come out. And then we run that for a while, and we started to build up the SEO traffic and started to get more engagement there. But it wasn't until we added what I call like the final step, which is with the podcast, and then literally it took off. It went into double digits growth 13 months straight. So I think it's like with everything, when you run a business and you want to know where your business is coming from, obviously you have like channels, and you have to test across all of these channels. And sometimes it's that perseverance, because obviously going with a webinar, some people have just given up, and then going into YouTube and the slow growth there, would have just given up, and then into the blog, which growth, but it was a bit better. But then you find that there's that one touch point where it takes off. It's very much like as we sell on Amazon today, you might find bot traffic is your main thing, or you might find that AMS traffic, is your thing, or it might be just external traffic. It comes from anywhere. But normally what happens with a business, you find that area where the conversion is and where the audience are, or people that are buying your products, and that's where you double down. And that's what we've done pretty much since the podcast really took off for us. That's what's been our primary focus.
So it's nice that you found a way. I think it has been more than a year, your podcast.
So I think we started 2017. I think it was the October or November. So we spent 9 months working out where was our medium, what was our medium, where's the channel. The one thing I learned from it as well is that we're able to produce more content. So where I was doing one video a week with all the rendering and the uploads and stuff like that, I found it naturally to the podcast to be more natural. It's a bit like a radio show. I used to be on Kiss 100 back in the day when I was in the music business. So I had a show for a couple of years. So it's a similar kind of medium. Obviously, you're playing music there, but you're also speaking and interviewing guests as well.
Mm-hmm. And now your live event is coming up. It's a one-day, can we call it conference or gathering?
Yeah, so it is a one-day conference, but it's very much focused on around structured learning. So they are presentations, but it's in a keynote theatre. And within that, we've got a curriculum for it, and people are able to follow along, make their notes. We'll provide pens, pads, and they'll have a workspace, and it's like a tiered seating environment. So it's a good view for everyone who is in there when they're sitting down. Because obviously with conferences, which it is as well, because you're going to do that bit of networking, you've got lunch times, your break times and stuff. But this is basically focused more so around structured education and focused around marketing on and off Amazon.
And I know you prepared some little presentation about your event. So let's jump into these slides.
Okay. So basically, Seller Sessions Live takes place on Saturday, June 1st. So for us, what makes Seller Sessions Live different? For us, it's definitely not about the money. Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into an event. We can focus on making money later. But for us, it's about setting and raising the bar in the UK for better education for our sellers. If it was about money, then our ticket price is going to be a lot higher, as you'll see a bit later on. But for us, it's about bringing the world's best talent and putting them all under one roof. We strive to do this virtually, as earlier we mentioned, Augustus, with the Seller Session podcast. My job is to try and curate the best guests and then do my best to ask the right questions. So we're expanding this now into a live format with keynotes, and outside expensive masterminds and cult style events, the bar in the UK is not set very high. So what people are charging, say, for one international speaker to come into town, we're doing this, we're charging for 6 for the same price. So over in the US, sellers are very much spoilt for choice. Every month they have lots of speakers, lots of events in lots of different cities. Eventually, that's what I want for the UK, to be spoilt for choice for all of our Amazon sellers here. But first, we must raise the bar. So we've done 200 plus episodes of the Seller Session podcast. Again, Seller Sessions Live is not all about making money. It's about building a sustainable educational culture here in the UK. This is why we're putting our money where our mouth is. And to do this, we have to build the infrastructure, a lot what you're doing, Augustus, in Europe. So the way we've done this is to decentralize and disperse the knowledge and information. With Seller Sessions, we put in high-end content into the hands of the everyday Amazon seller. And we've done this for free. So Seller Sessions does more than any other brand in the UK to help the Amazon FBA community, or that's what we believe anyway. We're putting in the work and playing the long game. So we speak with Amazon directly about building deeper trust ties to the FBA community. And we're working with them on some new webinar content. I did a pilot with them last month, and also work with GS1 on initiatives for their amnesty program. We also do a monthly blog for them to their 36,000 UK members, educating them on Amazon. So all this feeds back into the culture, the community, and the infrastructure. So now you understand what we're trying to achieve for sellers in the UK. Let's talk a little bit about the lineup. So up first is Ivan Demirov. Now, Ivan is often copied without attribution. He's one of the most advanced technical minds in our community. He's constantly breaking new ground, sharing A9 algorithm changes and breaking new findings on a regular basis. We also have Anthony Lee. Anthony has been way ahead of the curve since 2015. He's also one of the world's most respected experts on ranking and constantly in the lab producing new case studies and then sharing them via his blog post on Sixleaf. We also have Liran Hirschkorn. Now, Liran is a regular visitor to Seattle and he gives constructive feedback to Amazon. He trials a lot of their initiatives, and again, he's notoriously open and he shares a lot of his findings with his own community and the rest of the Amazon community at large. He's a great all-round technical marketer on Amazon and expert when it comes to landing pages, and driving external traffic. We've also got Paul Harvey. Paul may not be someone that you heard of just yet, but technically, again, very gifted and brilliant at breaking down complex information. He was early on messenger bots with Amazon, even developing his own software to get around the limitations of the other products on the market. I'll be speaking now, which we'll go into a bit later, but there's more also coming up. We have Casey Goss. Casey has accomplished so much in the last few years. He's the founder of Viral Launch at 21 and grew from startup to 60 plus members of staff. Technically, again, very talented, and he's helped pioneer different ranking methods. Viral Launches had over 40,000 launches under their belt and have helped generate 7 billion in revenue for their clients. We've got Athena Severi. Athena will be introducing all the speaker sessions and co-hosting alongside me on the day. Outside of China Magic, she's played host to many events around the globe. Events such as Amazing.com Sellercon, of course, the European Seller Conference and China Sourcing Summit in Hong Kong. So if we go into the event now, here is the breakdown of what we've got going on. So 9 a.m. you'd have the registration and coffee, and then you can network. And then we're going to have at 9:45 the opening assembly, which I'll address some things for the day to get the most out of the sessions. And from 10, first up is Paul Harvey going into the chatbot advantage. I'll then follow him talking about the science lab with your Amazon business, being Amazon PPC. And then we're going to take a mid-morning break for networking, food and refreshments. And then at noon, we'll have Liran Hirschkorn. So he's going to be covering growing your sales and implementing quick wins. He'll be followed by Anthony Lee, who's going to go into the psychology of marketing, triggers and flows to get new customers, landing pages. There'll be bot flows, etc. there as well. And then we're going to have lunchtime where there'll be a buffet, selection of food, desserts, coffees, teas, and they'll give you a chance to network with the speakers and other delegates there. And then at 2:15, we'll have Casey Goss. He's going to be talking about how to drive sales and keyword ranking, followed by Evelyn Demirov. And then again, we'll take a short break, quick refuel, quick bit of networking, and then we're going to finish off the day on a panel predicting the future in and around the A9 algorithm, and I'll be announcing the panelists for them. They'll be more like technical marketers. We're also going to talk about the difference between a marketer and a programmer marketer and some of the advantages that they have there. So it's all held at the prestigious David Game Keynote Theatre. The theatre is tiered seating with workspaces I mentioned earlier on, so there's no resting on your legs with your laptops and try and write in midair with your pen and pad. We're not selling any of the presentation content post-event. This is about doing something special for those that are in attendance. Tickets are on sale now, so early birds at $239, and then the general admission once early bird runs out are going to be at £319. Included in your ticket is access to all the presentations, a chance to chat and network with the speakers, lunch and break beverages mid-morning plus the afternoon, and you get to meet a load of super smart Amazon sellers and brands. This all kicks off from 9 a.m. on June 1st until 5:30 p.m. For international travel and hotels, go to sellerSessions.com/live. And here is the ticket line number.
All right. Thank you very much, Danny. It sounds like a great event in UK. Actually, UK doesn't have so many events like in this quality.
Yeah, so that's been my goal, is that I've looked at the landscape. There are some events going on. There's more events, not necessarily around Amazon, but more like multi-channel events. You know, there's actually some larger scale events, but it's very rare that we get ones in the UK where you have a real depth of lineup that you could not rival the US, because it's not about rivalry. It's about, can we put something on par with what's going on in the US? And that was the goal.
Yeah. And let's make more Europe to come to London for your event.
Yes.
And see you there. Everyone who comes, please shake hand to Danny, to me, and see you there in London. Bye-bye, Danny. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this short video with Danny about Seller Sessions, and I hope to see you in Seller Sessions live conference in June 1st in London 2019. If you want to get notifications about more videos I'm posting with Amazon tools, softwares, Amazon experts, and also with the event organizers for Amazon sellers, subscribe to the YouTube channel of Orange Click, and see you in the next video.